Talking wrestling, living the dream. From Tokyo to London, across the globe, respecting the craft, we're in the know. No gimmicks or fakes, just pure passion and skill. The best talents from every wrestling hill. We dive deep into the stories behind the ring. Respecting the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the craft, making the fans sing. Respect the crowd, respect the fight. We bring the best, we can't hide.
And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 315. And yes, the title is featuring the last OutKast, OutKast, but this episode is going to be a little different. I don't want to talk to OutKast today. I want to talk to Jerry. This episode is going to be a little bit different because there's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot on the table here. But before we get into all of that, before we get into the heartbreaking situation, the emotional situation that's going on, Jerry, how are you, brother? Good evening.
How you doing, Ray? Listen, I'm excited to be in this podcast. I think I've made it clear I've been wanting to be in this podcast for a while, so it's a huge honor. I wish it was in better circumstances, but nonetheless, this is a big deal. So I really appreciate you having me.
No, of course, man. I'm glad we could finally do this again. I agree. I wish it was on definitely better circumstances, but it's okay. We're going to still have a great conversation here and nail down those things that we have to touch on. But before we get into any of that, I do have to ask you the question I've asked everyone that comes on. You heard the podcast. You know it's called Respect the Craft. So for you, when you hear that term, the craft, what does that mean to you?
It means taking a chance to respect what we do. This, no matter what craft is that we do, whether it is wrestling, whether it's commentary, whether it's something as refereeing, is anything that we do is not something that's for everybody. So, so for us to do what we do, no matter what it is, we've taken the time to prepare ourselves for it. We've taken the time to dedicate ourselves for it. So if we can show that same respect to our craft, then there should be no reason why we can't show any respect to any craft that we do.
Understood? No, definitely right there. So now I have to ask you for yourself here, what was it that finally made you decide, you know what, I have to step into this craft. I have to go through those ropes. This isn't just something I like to watch. This isn't any other ordinary hobby. I got to get in there. We got to start this path. What was that for you?
It's interesting because it started in college.
Okay.
It started in college. I wanted to start training immediately after high school, but circumstances didn't allow me to do so. So I was kind of tricked into going to college, because I even went as far as checking to see if there was financial aid for wrestling school, which isn't a bad question if you think about it.
Oh. I feel like that definitely needs to maybe one day, maybe. I don't know if a lot of wrestling schools will like that because they definitely like to, again, dues are a thing.
Listen, like I've been fortunate to be graced by some amazing coaches. Like I spent some time with Damian Adams. I spent some time with Gino Caruso. I spent some time with the SAT. First of all, Joel's a fucking great coach. All right. So those of you that have the chance to train with Joel, take that chance because he's a walking encyclopedia. Like, wow. But going back, like I've struggled through school, like I've gone through school, but every time I would watch wrestling, I'd be like, all right, that's gotta be me. That's gotta be me. It's gotten to the point where everybody in college is like, all right, Jerry, like you're getting a little old for this. So then I graduated college in 2018, Fairleigh Dickinson University in Teaneck. And then as early as 2019, that's when I decided to step in the ring. And I would go from getting messages that, Jerry, you're getting a little old for this, should probably stop, to, damn, I can't believe you're pursuing your dreams, let's go for it. You doing what you want to do is making me want to pursue my dreams. So, to have a whole 180, it's humbling for me, because you really never know who's watching.
Definitely. Definitely. And that is, I think, the biggest thing when it comes to all of this, when it's always, especially in this business, that you never know who's watching out. You never know who's looking. You never know who's going to have your back in this scenario. So that, with that being said, now you step into this craft here, you start to, again, pursue that journey of yours, and you start to pursue this goal that you had to do this. How do we now end up creating the friendships and brotherhoods with the two gentlemen that we're going to be talking about later? How do we get to those connections with current TCW heavyweight champion PJ Savage and the greatest damn showman Jocko?
Well, that's interesting, because I met PJ and Bougie in May 2021. I was still training for Damian Adams, and I was trying to basically make a name for myself, knowing I wasn't ready. And let's make that clear, I wasn't ready, but I still wanted to get my name out there, trying to learn the craft, learn how people run their businesses, learn how promoters run their promotions. And I hit up a few promoters just to do ring crew. I just wanted to just pay my dues no matter what, because I felt like it's never too early to pay your dues no matter what. So I went ahead and met a guy who ran Upper Limit Wrestling. All right. I contacted him, and he welcomed me with open arms, and I met him at a location where he had his ring, and that's when I met PJ and Bougie. Okay. And PJ especially, they brought me in with open arms. Gotcha. And I've just been riding with him ever since. Jacko just happens to run into the mix a couple months later, and Jacko and I we've just been inseparable, to the point where, like, we'd wish each other's happy birthday, holidays, you name it. Like, I know his kids love me, PJ's kids love me, and I know, and you should know that, I think you know this, like, when you open up to somebody like that, to the point where you're willing to open up your family, like, that's a big deal, and it's not something you want to mess up. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't take that for granted. So for Jacko to feel like, in a way, I'm turning on him because of everything he's done for me, that's kind of huge.
So, okay. So, you know what? Again, now we might as well start diving into that scenario, because this goes back to when you were, and even it could even go even farther, but we're gonna pinpoint when you were going to defend the Mob Fight TV American Championship. Unfortunately, you had already succumbed an injury. And you decided, you know what? I'm still going to be a defending champion. I'm going to be a fighting champion. And on that night, you were going to face my mentor, Dr. Sleep, Anthony Gango.
Well, that's the thing. Jacko's been on my side throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to be the match of my career. Gangone's not someone to take lightly. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Gangone. I'm not a fan of what he's been doing, in a sense of causing all that havoc and chaos in Titan, but I'm still a fan of Anthony Gangone. He's what I don't consider him a wrestler. I consider him an artist. And for someone that you consider your mentor, I feel you would feel the same way. Because what you see that man wrestle, every time you find a weakness, it's almost like he doesn't have any. So it's gotten as far as to the point where my girlfriend Kayla went to the show. Well, many people don't know because Jacko knows about this. She didn't want me defending the title. She wanted me to forfeit the title, and I just refused. Like when you have a match with someone like Anthony Gangone, you are not gonna forfeit that match at all. There's no way you're gonna get out of that match. So I knew I was hurt. I knew what I was getting myself into. But if I was gonna lose that championship, I was gonna lose it the way I did, the honorable way. I didn't even tap. No, I'm not happy that Jacko threw the towel. But I understand why he did it.
See, but that's where I now have to question, because that's why I wanted to pinpoint that. But even before we continue that, we want to shout out the comments right here. We got a "We Love Gangone" from, I feel like you know these two very well right here in the comments.
That's my sister. Liliana's my sister. She's my real life sister. And Dana Deli, she's her. That's her partner in crime.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, definitely shout out to them. Much love. But we go to that. We go to that situation right there now. That's why I wanted to pinpoint that. I wanted to go to that because it all begins there, because the initial person to throw in the towel was Jocko. It was Jocko. It was someone to say, you know what? We have to save our, again, brother. Because I can imagine they look at you like that little brother, as that like guy they're mentoring their own selves. But we then look at the situation where it continues and you decide to repay the favor when we look at Devastation and Destruction Dad's Day. Or we move on to the Aaron Roxas versus Jocko for that TCW middleweight championship.
That match was hard to watch because what many people don't know, in a different universe, Aaron Roxas was my first match ever. So I already knew what Roxas was capable of. And that's another guy that's going to make it big in the industry. So I already know what he's about. And he was not going to stop until Jacko's neck was broken. If you hear what he was saying, he was talking about what happens to the neck when it's broken, what types of bones are in the neck, and that's where I knew he not only studied Jacko, he studied the human body. And he knew exactly where to end Jacko. So yeah, it comes off like I was repaying a favor, but I was also saving my friend. So I would rather him be mad at me and know he's okay than to not throw in the towel and then he can't even go home to his kids.
Okay. And so we now, again, that is where we start to see, though, a little bit of that resentment build. We start to see that. We start to see how the frustration starts to get to Jocko because of how much he loved. He loved that championship, to the point that last promo to get to this match right here. Just it sounded like this wasn't the Jocko I can imagine even you knew. Like, we saw a different side coming out of Jocko that then leads to the gruesome I Quit match. We get to the night of guerrilla warfare. We get to what these two were willing to do to each other. And we laid to the end that leads to, again, you trying to do the right thing. I myself on commentary were saying, I get it. You're trying to protect someone that you care for, someone you look up to as a brother, as a mentor. And we get the scenario, unfortunately, though, of Aaron Roxas unfortunately attacking you because you got involved. It's part of this industry, this craft that we love here, and putting you at the turnbuckle, an exposed turnbuckle with that, where we possibly could not have had this conversation if Aaron Roxas was successful in what he was trying to do.
Probably.
And I have to ask though, however, again, yes, on both occasions, you have had to throw in the towel for Jocko because you want to be able to save your friend here. You want to be able to help. You want to make sure he walks out and still to be able to be with his family. However, and again, I don't mean to cause any friction here. I'm not trying to piss off Jocko because we all have to be there next Saturday. Jocko also wasn't winning on either occasion. So is this the scenario of, is this Jerry creating issues, or is this Jocko trying to play the blame game here and now manipulating you, Jerry? I have to ask because I heard what he's telling you. I heard that torment. You were crying in that ring because a guy that you called your brother is now saying you caused this. You are doing this. And I see how that affects you and how much that has created this internal turmoil. But again, I don't know if this is a scenario where you truly are the perpetrator here. I think, unfortunately, you are the victim of someone's manipulation. Your thoughts on that, Jerry?
It's tough. It's tough to even put into words. Like, for starters, I want to apologize for my coughing and everything. You know how stress can get you sick. So the stress of this issue with Jocko has actually gotten me sick. Literally a week out.
It's all good. I'm definitely understood. I can imagine. Again, this is the thing where even when I invited you on, I knew this would be a difficult scenario. I knew this would be a difficult conversation. Again, take your time, man. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this because, again, the more I look at it, the more I rewatch what occurred at Guerrilla Warfare. Again, I feel like you are, again, between a rock and a hard place. But continue.
I am. You said it, but you said it best yourself. I am between a rock and a hard place because all I wanted to do was make sure Jocko was okay. And I know PJ apologized to me for not stepping in sooner, but PJ's the champion. All right, us as brothers, knowing PJ, like, he expected us to be able to handle this on our own, and in a way, we couldn't. And now it's where, you know, what if Jocko is right? You get me? Like, I've done all this trying to take care of him, and it's backfired to the point where he no longer has Darling. And knowing me, I wish I could do anything to fix the situation that I put people in. But he's put him in a situation where, in order to pretty much get forgiveness from Jocko, is to pin PJ's shoulders to the mat. And that's really where I'm conflicted, because PJ's been my best friend since day one. PJ and I have been through it all together since day one. And the fact that I have to basically choose between those guys, this is where I can barely sleep. Like, you can hear my voice. Like, I'm practically sick thinking about it.
No, again, take your time, man. We're here. We're here to hear you out. Everyone is in the comments is here to hear you out. Liliana, no, I am not stirring the pot. Again, I am asking what I am supposed to do as a journalist. This is why I am one of the voices at Titan Championship Wrestling. And I'm asking the questions I even asked in the situation when it occurred at Guerrilla Warfare. I'm on commentary just distraught because I don't know what we're seeing, because that started the night, that whole situation where we begin this. But we're gonna continue here as well. Thank you. See, I'm just doing my journalistic job. That is all I'm doing. Shout out to Gigi in the chat saying here. We got Gigi in the building. We got Daniel Alexander in the building. What's going on, Daniel? See, Gigi poses a nice question though. What has he done for you lately? Put yourself first, Jay. It is a good thing to think about. OutKast low-key plotting on that title though. Hashtag. Oh, come on.
All right, I'm gonna stop everybody right there. I have no plans to even try to challenge PJ at all because of how close we are. I don't plan on turning on PJ. I'm in a weird spot because of this match. But I also don't plan on turning on Jacko either. So just because you don't plan on something doesn't mean it won't happen. So,
well, that's a difficult thing to start saying. Again, not to cut you off, Jerry, but you have to definitely think about what you're saying and what the repercussions of what you're saying is, because in less than we are less than 2 weeks away. Tomorrow makes a week away, and you have to be the official for that match. Before we get into that, want to continue because even Aunt Tina is saying it. Shoes, Jocko attacked you. To heck with that. She's got a point. She's got a little bit of a point. But again, I have to remain unbiased as well. I'm just trying to help you out here. Ray always starting some shit. I am not starting anything. I am just asking the questions. I'm just putting out what everyone has seen. There's no stirring here. I'm not trying to stir anything. This is why I wanted to have Jerry on here. Like I said, I'm not trying to talk to Jay OutKast right now. I'm trying to talk to Jerry because I want to see just how he's doing. Because we can see this is a distraught person currently.
Listen, you're doing your job and you're really good at it. And if you didn't think that this was important, you would have never had me. So I thank you for that. This isn't a storyline. This isn't kayfabe. This is real. What many people don't understand, this is real. Like, this is Jacko legitimately upset at me for costing him who he calls darling. This is me legitimately between a rock and a hard place because I might have to turn my back on PJ, which is something that I've never done since we've met. Okay, this is real. Like, Raymond, you've seen it. This is real. Like, those tears were real. Like, me jumping in to help Jacko was real. Like, that, like, me throwing in the towel that first time was real. Like, everything from when Jacko had to throw in the towel.
The towel for you, yeah.
Everything is real.
Again, it's a scenario where that's why I had to bring up these moments, because it's a tough situation. It is a tough situation, and it's one that I would assume all three would understand the situations here, where everyone would have the common understanding of everyone trying to create that saving grace. But however, we are here. As we continue in the comments as well. There we go. See, this is a horrible situation. Jocko is the one stirring the pot, possibly just a bit. We have Nettie in the chat as well. What's going on? What's going on? Jerry's the best. There we go. We got some love for Jerry in the chat. And of course, we got one Michael Fain saying, I mean, it is your fault. Come on, Michael. Of course, he has to come in and say those things, but it is what it is. Thank you, Michael, for your comment. Thank you for watching. PJ just might go savage for you and actually turn. So I'm seeing that common thread. What if PJ decides to turn on you because of this whole scenario? Which, again, because of even your post-show comments, we saw with that situation of all of you talking to PJ and even having to admit you might be an issue at Savage Intentions. And just that alone, that again, it plays a toll because, like you said, you met PJ first. You've been that ride or die with PJ. You've gone up and down the roads with this man. And to have to tell him to his face, it might be a possibility. That is heartbreaking, man.
No, it hurts. It hurts. Like, imagine everybody has from, and we all know I'm going through my life, from the boys to Billy asking me, like, what are you gonna do, to everybody in both my jobs who are following what's going on, to even some of the fans asking me, what are you gonna do? And it's like, I gotta tell you guys, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I can't sit here and be like, stop asking me, because I get it. If I were from the outside looking in, I'd want to know too, but I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
Okay. And again, I totally get it. And this is why we're here. I want to know. I want to know what you're going to be doing, but I know not to ask, because again, it is asking, it's trying to ask, so what gun are you going to use when all of them are currently loaded? Like, this is a scenario where it's like, this isn't an easy A, B, or C option, you know? But as we continue here, Nettie saying, Mia says wacko jacko. Again, he has been a little wacko, just a little bit. But you gotta understand why. I think OutKast wanted to get his revenge. What revenge is he getting here? Might have missed a comment. I'm not sure. Remember, Jay, even if you don't do anything for anyone, it doesn't matter if it's PJ or Jocko. One of them is going to be upset because you still didn't do anything. That is unfortunately a factor. That is going to be the factor. But I think everyone in the Titan Nation and everyone that has seen the three of you and has supported the three of you would understand, end of the day, no matter what you do, as long as it's the right thing, I think that's what they want out of Jay OutKast, out of Jerry next Saturday night. Because this is a scenario where, unfortunately, though, what is the definition of the right thing when it comes to a battle like this? When it comes to a match like this? Because I also have to show this image, because like I said, the I Quit match is how we started that night. That is how we began. During that, we saw the situation where Jocko attacks you, where we have to see PJ come out and stop what would have possibly happened. Because I don't even know what Jocko was thinking of doing after going through his own hellacious battle with Aaron Roxas.
Right.
And then it would be the ultimatum of the championship match thrown out there, the gauntlet, to know, hey, for his full year as champion, he gets to pick his opponent. And he wanted to face Jocko. He threw the challenge out there to face the best. And Jocko would say he would think about it. He would think about it. We get to the main event of the evening, the Guerrilla Warfare main event, Falls Count Anywhere for that Funhouse Heavyweight Championship.
It was a great match. It was
it was. Very, very hellacious battle. We talked about it yesterday with Jeff Noyes. It was a war. And after PJ going through that, somehow being able to walk out of that contest, we then get to this. We get to this scenario where even Jocko would do the unthinkable of coming again to the commentary desk where me and Harry were trying to call this and just call whatever we were seeing, because we didn't even know what was going to happen here. He decides to grab one of our monitors and do the unthinkable and attack PJ. And then again, semi-confirm that yes, this match would happen on October the 12th, with the caveat being this right here, that for that TCW World Championship, it will be defended PJ Savage defending against the greatest damn showman, Jocko, but the special guest referee would have to be none other than Jay OutKast. And when we hear that again, it felt like the oxygen in the room just left. Because now it puts you in this scenario. The reason we are here, it creates this tension of what is going to happen now. Because you just had to see two men that you call your brothers, two men you look up to as mentors, now having this battle, having the proverbial phrase of, am I my brother's keeper? Fully just in your face. And again, I get it. You feel a little bit guilty for what you've done, but how can you see what is going on and think, you know what? Maybe this is my fault. You aren't the one that gave Jocko the monitor. You're not telling Jocko to do this. How are you seeing this and being like, you know what? Maybe Jocko is justified here. I have to ask you that.
You brought up a good point, and I'm just like, maybe Jocko has been mad at me for a while. Maybe he's shown signs, but maybe he's been more frustrated than he's let out. And maybe me getting involved in that match was the final straw. Like I thank him for saving me, basically, but what if he's had this frustration for a while and we all didn't know? And this was more of Jocko knew what he was doing if I were to get involved. Because if you remember, when Jocko came out, I came out with him. And right at our entrance, he told me to go to the back. But he didn't just tell me. He goes, "Vete pa' allá," in Spanish. Like, you know, when we say something in another language, especially in Spanish, you know it's serious. All right? Like, our parents, like, we all know our parents will be like, yo, this. And then when they be like, yo, ya se acabó. Like, you know, that's our cue. All right, we got to step back. But I couldn't step back. I really couldn't. And to be honest with you, I wasn't thinking about the repercussions. I was just trying to save my friend.
Again, I think that is, anyone in this comment section will agree. Anyone in this comment section can see, and the Titan Nation saw it clear as day. We all saw it in both scenarios, when it was devastation and destruction, Dad's Day, when it was guerrilla warfare. It is a friend trying to save a friend. But we just, I don't know, man. It's hard to try to see what he's doing and not see manipulation here. Because I have to straight up ask you, is there a thought in your head of, would you count if PJ is pinning Jocko then?
You know, when I first started wrestling, one of the things I did beforehand was ref. And I spent a good amount of time reffing. And there were times where I had to pin my brother's shoulder to the mat when I was just being a ref. So being a good ref is always calling it down the middle, no matter who's in that ring. No matter who you're close with in that ring, no matter what. And
Again, take your time, man. Take your time, breathe, think about it. Because I get it. Trust me. This is a scenario where I continuously say, and I've gotten in trouble for saying it, I am trying to remain as unbiased and neutral as possible, especially as a broadcaster. But everyone knows, you know it, you said it. Someone I know very well, I continue to say it, my brother, my mentor, Anthony Gango. And I'm very biased, unfortunately, at times when it comes to Gango, and I might allow certain things and just turn a blind eye to certain things he does. And I get it. That is something you do for those you care about, for those that you love, for those that are close to you. However, I have to ask, because of everything, these are two men that you know very well. These are two brothers of yours. And I know this is hard, but I have to ask you, you aren't a referee, Jerry. You are a competitor. You are someone that has known what it feels like to unfortunately lose a championship. You're also someone that has known the feeling of what it is to win and fight for a championship. So when it comes to next Saturday, October the 12th, when we return to Hoboken, Savage Intentions, will you truly be able to call it down the middle and count to 3 if it were PJ doing the pin?
You know, I have to say yes. I have to say yes. I'm going to call it down the middle, but now I'm just talking out of my ass. I don't want either of them getting hurt, seriously hurt. And it's more of, am I even fit for the job? Because of who's on both sides. Now, you bet your ass I'm gonna be there. You bet your ass I'm gonna be ready to work. But the question I'm asking myself is, can I keep my emotional composure to be able to call it down the middle? And that's a question I've been asking myself all the time. Like, here's an interesting story. When a couple weeks ago, when I went to buy my car, coincidentally, the guy selling me the car is a Titan fan. And one of the questions he asked me before he gave me the keys is, okay, so who's winning the match in Hoboken? I'm like, why would you ask me that?
I would hope he still gave you the car keys though. Like you still got.
No, I got my keys. But yeah, it's the match follows me wherever I go.
Yeah.
It's like I'm even sick because of the stress of it.
No, I get it. I get it.
Nobody wants to be sick to begin with a week before a show. But it's more of, I want to call it down the middle. I want to be straight down middleman and just let them wrestle, because they've in different universes they've wrestled before. They've trained together. A lot of people.
It's there. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows the roads that they've gone. But I don't think, and we can all agree, it's never gotten to this point. It has never been a situation where these two are now involving you. It is a ploy of, again, so just it is insane proportions here. You look at the comment section, they are arguing in the chat currently. That's why I stopped pulling up, because you see the reaction, you see how much emotion this has brought out of others. But I have to ask you, because even past Saturday, because I know how much this is affecting the three of you, I know what this is doing. What is going to happen if you have to do the unthinkable for yourself? Because I know, again, I get it. I know right now you can't give me a straight answer. You're not going to be able to, no matter what you say. It is just to say something for the podcast when it comes to the counting the three. If it's for Jocko, if it's for PJ Savage. But let's say there is going to be a winner. But post that, what happens then, Jerry? What happens then? Because now we will have a winner. And unfortunately, with that being said, that does mean we also will have a loser that day.
And that's
where do we go with that? Because unfortunately, that is going to leave a broken bond with at least one of them.
See, and that's where I'm in a really tough spot, because it's not just any match. It's for the Titan Heavyweight Championship. And I'm basically deciding their future, which makes it even more difficult, because I basically decide who walks out as champion. PJ has gone a long road to beat Gangone. All right, he ended a 15-month reign in Gangone. All right, and let's keep it real. Gangone's not an easy guy to beat. Okay, if he's watching this, he's probably laughing in his couch right now saying, "Oh, of course he knows that I'm this, I'm that," and because I can't lie either. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that you're what is it that people say, the drizzling shits? No, Gangon is one of the best to ever do this. PJ is one of the best to ever do this. And I'm not saying this because PJ's the boy. I'm not saying this because Gangon's your mentor. This is the truth. These guys have done amazing things all over the Northeast. But Jacko has done some amazing things too. So for me to have to decide whether or not to end PJ's 364-day reign, because this is a leap year. So for me to end PJ's 364-day reign, or to let it continue, that's a lot of pressure. Because his title reign basically falls on my hands.
See, but my thing is, again, and I hope Jocko does not hear this, even though I know he will.
Oh, he most likely will.
This is going to get me in trouble for saying it, but I must do my job. So again, you are saying it is in your hands. Last I checked, and everyone in the comments, please agree or disagree. The match is between Jocko and PJ Savage. So again, I ask, is this scenario of, is Jocko not able to pull the trigger? Is Jocko not able to get a win when it counts? So it's a situation of, is that why he's using you? Because twice now, when it matters, Jocko cannot do it. Because in both scenarios, yes, you had to throw in the towel when it came to championship matches, when it came to Aaron Roxas versus Jocko at Devastation and Destruction, when it came with Jocko versus Aaron Roxas now at Guerrilla Warfare. Yes, you had to throw in the towel. But like I said, in both scenarios, everyone could see it. This is not me trying to stir the pot. This is not me saying hyperbole. Jocko was not the victor, or looking as if he would be the victor on either night. He was locked in with a pair of handcuffs, or technically with he was tied up to the ropes. He could not do anything. There was a scenario of, eventually it was spelling the end for Jocko in that scenario as well. So it's a scenario here of, you say it's in your hands, but where's Jocko in this scenario? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I can see why people keep saying you're stirring the pot, but no, you're not.
I'm just trying to ask the questions here, man. Because again, I don't want I don't want to feel like all this is on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to see that you have to walk into Hoboken next week with that clear conscience and know to do your job. You know what I'm saying? To do what you are being told, to be that referee, to not allow those voices that are, again, of Jocko here, or even of PJ. Know that you have to do what those stripes mean.
And I appreciate that, but what if it is on me? Like, I've costed him 2 championship matches. And I know it comes off like, yeah, it's my fault, but I just didn't want him getting hurt. Like, everybody knows how much I care about Jocko, and for me, I felt I needed to do what I thought was right. I wanted him to live to walk another day, live to wrestle another day, but I know how Aaron Roxas works. That man is a killer, and he was not gonna stop until Jocko got hurt and could not wrestle. That was his goal. He was going to do whatever just to make sure. If Jocko can't wrestle anymore, then fuck it. He can't wrestle anymore. That was Aaron Roxas' mindset going into the match. That was his goal. Going into the match, like, if Jocko can't wrestle anymore after this, then fuck it. That's on him. It's on me. It's not on me. but both of these matches were on me.
But so now this scenario, again, you know both of them very well. This is why we're here. They are your brothers. There are two that you rode those. You know what PJ's capable of. You saw what he did at Guerrilla Warfare. Like you said, it was a great match. It was a great war. What's going to happen if there's a scenario like that again? Because you know what PJ is willing to do to retain that championship, what he was willing to do to defeat Anthony Gangone, to defeat the likes of Mike Donovan, to defeat the likes of Joel Maximo, to defeat the likes of Joey Conway. The list goes on and on. And it's, again, a situation like this that, you know, PJ's not walking into this happy after being hit in the head with a monitor a few weeks ago. So what are you going to do if, again, PJ decides to do what he has to do? He gets savage. It is Savage Intentions. What's going to happen there? Jerry, you might want to move your fingers in the mic a little bit because you're sounding a little like muffled. My apologies.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. So I know I've trained with PJ here and there.
Yeah.
So I know what he's all about. And he hits hard, but he hits harder when he's close to you. I know what he's willing to do to Jacko. I know what Jacko's going to do to him. This isn't going to be a match. This is going to be an all-out fight. It's going to be a war. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to just let it happen or just stop it. It's tough when you don't want your brothers getting hurt. And then the first thing you do once that bell rings is see them get hurt. Practically in our backyard. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm really not.
Again, I don't think there is anyone that knows the three of you that are looking forward to a situation like this. I have to go to the comments blocks, even saying it there. Just be fair and you have no worries. Make the right choice for yourself for once. Forget about PJ. Forget PJ. Forget Jocko. Do what's best for OutKast. Do the right thing for Jay OutKast, and you'll be fine. You know what's the right thing. And I blogs. I tried to say the same a little while ago, but I get it. For right now, the right thing seems very clouded for Jerry. The right thing. It's easier for us to say because luckily we're not in that scenario right now. I don't know what I would do in a scenario like that, realistically. So to put you in that scenario right now, I get it. I know your mind is going, it's racing currently. There's a lot of thoughts, a lot of things going on. I get it. Yeah, it is. This is a very tough situation. Come on, Liliana said Jerry about to hurt his kneecap by accident and leave the match so he doesn't have to have accountability. Come on.
Now we know who's really stirring the pot.
See, I've been accused of stirring the pot this whole interview here. I'm just trying to ask the questions. What's fair is fair, though, right? But I get that. It's whoever gets pinned deserves to get the. But that's what I'm trying to say. I get that. I get it. And that's the situation I'm trying to get at, though, is whoever can actually get the win, it's on them. Whoever wins, it's on them. Whoever loses, unfortunately, that's on them. But is that as simple for Jerry? Is that coming in clear for Jerry? Because there's a situation of it's that turmoil, you know?
It's not clear. It's not clear because Jacko put me in a situation where I have to rethink what I had to do, where I had to rethink our past, where I had to rethink everything that I've done, where, yeah, I costed him, darling. I costed him his rematch. but it's not like I wanted to. I saw what Aaron was doing. Like I can't just let my brother just lay there for dead, basically. No, I didn't want to get hurt. No, I didn't want to go through what I went through. But for Jacko, yeah, I'll do it again. But now it's almost like he's expecting me to just outright turn my back on PJ.
It seems like it. It seems from his comments at Guerrilla Warfare. It seems from even he's putting your head. It seems like that is the clear sight here. That is very, very worrisome. It is very worrisome.
Excuse me.
Oh, all good, man. It's worrisome to think that this has to be a contemplation. I get it. I get it. It's understandable. Agreed. Jerry needs to take his pride out of this. I don't think it's pride. Again, it's very just. There's a lot here. Listen, Jay, calling it down the middle is a win for Jay. It's called integrity. Agreed, Tina. You don't need the Spanish channel for a novella. We got it right here at Titan. This is very much a novella right now because there's a three, there's a lot. But again, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you get your tickets right now. Be there. Savage Intentions. That is going to be next Saturday night. Live from Hoboken. Go to www.TitanChampionshipWrestling.com to get those tickets. Follow Titan on all their social media so you stay up to date with everything that's going on. And again, it is a lot that's going to be going down next week at Savage Intentions. But before we start wrapping up, I do want to ask a few more things of Jerry here. I want to now have the relaxed conversation and not just stress him out some more. Like, we want to still make this, it's about Jerry here. So we want to have a little bit of a conversation for him, just for a little bit more, if that's okay with you, Jerry.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay. So we want to get to know a little bit more about Jerry before we start wrapping this up, because again, you're still very young in your career. You're still, unfortunately, I do have to ask this: how are you? I know right now you're a little sick. You're under the weather, but medically, are you cleared to be even to compete?
Yes, I am. I've been cleared for a couple months now.
Okay.
I've been a little private with my recovery.
Gotcha.
Really, because I wanted to make it a pleasant surprise. It probably isn't the best idea for a lot of people, but I have been cleared. I have been training. I have been doing what I can to get better, because it's like with every injury. It picks up. It picks up as soon as you get better. Like, the road to recovery doesn't start after you get cleared. The road to recovery starts right after you get hurt. And it's how you handle it mentally. It's how you handle it emotionally. It's how you handle it from there. And I took some time to really reevaluate myself. I took some time to see what's best for me. Took some time to really kind of take a break from everything, and I've decided what was best for me, and professional wrestling is what's best for me. It's getting in the ring, it's going in, training, and kind of reminding myself why I did this in the first place and all that. And it's really, I can't tell you how grateful I am to be able to have that clearance and just get in the ring and just be able to prepare to get myself to do again what I've been wanting to do.
No, I can imagine. And again, it's an unfortunate scenario because you get that clearance, you start to prepare, and then now you're thrown into this.
Yeah.
Then a scenario would say, well, it should be a happy time. And nope, now we're here. Because that was my concern. I did not know. Again, you kept it to yourself. I did not know, even when you stepped in there at Guerrilla Warfare and putting your body on the line there, were you medically cleared? I question it on commentary. I'm like, I don't know if he should even be doing a situation like this. And again, you're putting your body on the line and doing it because you want to save your brother. And it's a scenario of Jocko not even understanding that, you know? That is where
Right.
this puts me.
So I want to take a second to apologize to everybody that didn't know I was cleared. Yes, I have been keeping it private. I'm a private person. So that's that. But for those of you that have been wondering, yes, I am cleared. I owe an apology across the board to those that were interested and whatnot. And yes, I am cleared. Um, I promise I'll be more open with my recovery. But I just wanted you guys to know I'm okay. I'm cleared, and I'm expected to give 150% every time I'm in the ring. And I just hope that you guys don't expect anything less from me.
Got you. No, again, understood. And again, we love to see it. Now, when it comes to that, again, still young in your career, I have to ask you a question, and then I ask everyone that comes on. That's a little bit of a hard one because now you have to go back in the catalog here of J OutKast. What would you say is a match of yours currently that you would say defines your career that you've had so far? In these few-
Um, I'm gonna have to say it's the match I had against Ken Powers.
Okay.
Because that was the match where I won my first championship. And Ken Powers pushed me to a limit, at least to the point where I knew I was gonna push harder. But not only did I earn his respect, but I earned the respect of the boys. I earned the respect of the boys in the back, all over. And more importantly, I earned the respect of Ken Powers. For him to hand me over the belt, that meant everything to me. And not only that, I won it in front of my family, in front of my parents. Mind you, I didn't know my parents was gonna be there, so that was interesting. Um, there's one more match that I have to shout out,
Of course.
and it's against Frankie Picard. Frankie Picard with his Deadly Sins thing, but Frankie Picard gave me a side that I didn't know I had at the time. And I will always, if we don't like each other, but
I think Frank, unfortunately, is liked by many because of certain situations. So
yeah, but I will always thank him enough. I'll never be able to thank him enough for pushing me to that limit, to the point where a lot of eyes were being opened. So Frankie Picard, I will always thank you for that match. Hope we run it back soon.
there you go. And look at that. We got talking about, I believe, that championship match as well. Yes, everyone there cried, happy tears, still proud of you. I'm assuming Liliana's the one that got your fam there. So
Yeah, yeah,
you're
she
welcome
did.
for that.
She really did.
We love Frankie. She did say that this week when I had the Deadly Sins on the podcast.
Of course she did. I'm not surprised.
But as well, I want to remind everyone as we start wrapping this up to please go follow Jerry on his Instagram right there, the last __ OutKast right there. I was trying to make sure, Jerry, do you have an X account or do you not? Because I was looking at one and it feels like you did have it, the last post wasn't until like December of last year.
So I'm gonna say I don't, because I haven't been on it so much, and that's on me.
Okay. We gotta I've been telling everyone that I've had on recently that don't use their socials, please start using your social media. Like we need to, like, if need be, again, contact me. This is what we do here. We do media. I will give you all the tips needed. We'll talk about that off the air.
Can I just listen? I shouldn't be doing this, but shout out to you. Shout out to everything you've done. It's something I like to do every time I'm on a podcast, because I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of your work, and for you to not only do the podcast, but you've done some amazing things throughout the time, and I'll be the first to tell you I'm a fan. So all your contributions to what you've done to the business, I appreciate that, and I thank you for it.
No, thank you so much, man. Truly appreciate the kind words there. But again, like I said, it was something I wanted to make happen for a while. Unfortunately, it had to happen under these circumstances, but I'm glad we could finally have this conversation. And to be able to have this again, we definitely would do it again. Definitely, hopefully, in better circumstances. Hopefully, to get you just to be an episode about you here, and in a better moment where you're not going through it mentally, going through
Right.
it currently. But we definitely would do this again soon. But Jerry, last question I have to ask you here, and that is for OutKast, for Jerry, what is the end goal, brother?
End goal is WWE. End goal is to main event WrestleMania with PJ. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for saying this. I know I'm gonna piss off Jacko for saying this, but that's my end goal.
You pick PJ. That's it. That's gonna be the tagline. Another just dirt sheet is gonna be he put PJ all along.
No, listen. Jacko and I have our own goals.
Of course.
Jacko and I had our own goals that we both have. We both have our own end goals, but listen, Jacko and I have had some emotional, personal connections. I'm not trying to bring it back, but Jacko and I have some great connections, and PJ and I have some great connections. And like, I'm not gonna make public my goals with Jacko, but you know, if I'm gonna be straight with you, it's if I can be in the main event of WrestleMania with, and I'm probably gonna get heat for this, but if I can be in the main event of WrestleMania with everybody from Takeover, that's like that's awesome. You get me? Because everybody deserves their moment at the spotlight, but if I could be in the ring in the main event with those guys, that's like fuck the Shield. Like but you know.
I got you. And again, that is why to not unfortunately tie it back to that, but just it's a situation where this is what makes next Saturday even more just it's heartbreaking, man. But again, ladies and gentlemen, be there next Saturday. Be there for Savage Intention. It is going to be a stacked card from top to bottom. Get your tickets now if you haven't already. Especially, it's a Halloween horror night, so you never know what could happen. The spooky season has arrived to Titan Championship Wrestling, and as always, it's always one good scare, man. It's always good for one good scare. So, come on. See, and she says I was stirring the pot. She says I was stirring the pot and saying that dropping hints. Come on. We definitely do. We definitely will set something up after the match because I can imagine there's going to be a lot to discuss after, again, whatever choice is made, whatever is done. And again, I hope it's in better circumstances than this. But Jerry, thank you so much again for joining us. To everyone watching, thank you guys again for tuning in. And as always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people. Respect the craft. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.